Okay, the last thing we're going to do is take care of the hindquarters, which is where you got a couple of interesting cuts that you can make. We generally do it in a particular order. This is your top round, which makes a real nice roast. It's going to be a boneless roast, but it's going to be a real tight boneless roast. So Renee's going to talk about it. It's got to be cooked a little bit different than a lot of your other roasts because there won't be a bone in it. It'll have a tendency to get tough and dry out, so how you cook it is important. This would be your sirloin tip on the top of it. On a small deer like this, there's not much to it. On a bigger deer, you might actually get a little piece of sirloin off of it. But in most cases, we would take that, cut off as much of the connective tissue as we can off of there, and it goes in the grind pile. Okay, so then you've got this real nice roast right here, that round roast there. It's covered with some connective tissue. It won't be this soft when you're doing it after it's been aged, but you're going to work around all that connective tissue. There's just a little piece of meat right there we want to go through as well. That would be ground. And then we're just going to take that thing, grab a hold of it, and that bone's running straight from there to the knee. And you're going to lay your knife right on that bone, work it right up the bone, coming across the top, and coming through all the way through the other side. Let go. Why won't you let go? And you end up with, once that's cleaned up, a very nice roast. And that roast is good for a lot of different things, particularly if you're going to use moist cooking methods, a slow cooker or something like that, or brown and bag. It makes great jerky. It's not because it's real easy to deal with. You freeze it and get it almost thawed. You can sit there and slice it up into real nice slabs of jerky, and we do that quite a bit during the wintertime as well. And obviously this stuff here would go into burger. Pretty simple, right? Keep the flies out of that thing. Okay, the last thing we want to do is we got to take that bone out of there. We're going to come along across both sides of it. So we can get to the bottom of it, grab a hold of that bone, and then we're just going to cut it straight down through here. That would end up going back into more burger. But here's where your steaks are. You want to cut some nice steaks out of a piece of venison. And cutting steaks in venison is pretty simple. I like to use a fillet knife because it gives you less resistance. And the better the quality of the knife that you have, the better. And what your goal is, you want to end up getting a steak that's at least an inch thick. Better you get it thicker than that than thinner than that. You probably want them 1.5 inches thick because venison steak, you've got to cook no more than to medium rare. So if you have it thinner than that, you're never going to get that something that thin to say medium rare. You still want it. You want it almost still alive inside when you eat it, right? Okay. So depending on the size of the steak you have out there, it depends on how I cut this thing. If I want a larger steak from a smaller deer, I cut it at an angle. If I got a big deer and I want to reduce it and get more steak out of it, I'll cut it straight through. So this little dough, I'll take the first, and obviously this won't be as loose on a deer that's actually had a chance to be aged, right? So I'll just take this and take the first cut off of it just to even it up. Then I'll come back about 1 inch, work my way through, take it and flip it over. Tell me that ain't a steak worth eating. Something like that you put on the grill. Now, a lot of times on a deer that's real fat, you can go inside here. There's going to be a couple chunks of fat in here. You can dig them out of there. That's fine. But straight to the grill with that thing. And she is the best person on the grill. I don't even bother going to the grill anymore because she does it. And she'll maybe talk about some of her marinades and stuff today. And typically a small dough like this, you'll get 2, 3, 4 off the side. and we'll generally package them one or two, one by itself or two together or something like that, depending, just right on the package what you got in there. So if you need 2 steaks or 1 steak, so forth. You'll end up with a lot of other stuff at the end of this thing. That'll go back into the grind pile.